Like to call this meeting to order. Staff, roll call.
I've noted attendance.
Okay, thank you. Approval of the minutes for the meeting of April 28th.
I wasn't there.
Okay,
Second.
second. Motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. Okay, this would be an opportunity for citizens to address anything that's not on the minutes, or I mean the agenda, I'm sorry. Seeing none, we will move along to no public hearing, new business, and that'd be item number 1, which is consideration of the 2016-2019 capital improvement program and a finding of consistency with the comprehensive plan of the capital improvement program and the capital improvement budget. Staff.
Thank you, Chair Jabs, Commissioners. Each year, the city manager makes a recommendation to the city council regarding the capital improvement budget for the upcoming year. The Planning Commission is responsible for reviewing the capital improvement plan and making a recommendation to the city council. The commission is also responsible for ensuring that the CIB and CIP are consistent with the comprehensive plan. Finance Manager Chris Regis is here tonight to give us a short presentation and answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Melissa. As Melissa said, 2015 capital improvement budget, 2016-2019 capital improvement plan. The process that we go through for this capital plan and budget is projects are identified by city commissions, departments, and the HRA. The preliminary report is generated by the city manager and presented to the planning commission we're doing tonight. Planning commission then reviews the projects based on the following consideration: the proposed project's conformance to the comprehensive plan. Then the CIP, as recommended by the Planning Commission, is returned to the city manager. The city manager then formalizes the CIP and includes it in the annual budget. That's pretty much the process that we're going through. And as I said, right now we're in the third bullet point. The 2015 capital improvement budget, total project costs are $15,260,000. And I just want to point out right away here, one thing you're going to notice through all of this, if you haven't already reviewed the handouts and things like that, is that there's a lot of money in this budget or in this plan, and a lot of it has to do with all the road work that is going on probably in the next 3 to 5 years, and you'll see that as we go through here. Within the recreation projects, there's annually $450,000 that's set aside for those types of projects, and that money comes from our liquor operation. So within the recreation projects, we've got $45,000 that's annually set aside within there for various park maintenance projects that is determined by the Park and Rec Department and the Park Maintenance Department. And also within there for 2015, we've got $250,000 for the band shell project. We have Wood Lake fence and tree repair, that's $5,000 annual, or tree removal, excuse me. Vets Park play equipment, $25,000. Garfield Park play equipment for $75,000, and then Ice Arena lobby skate tile replacement for $50,000. And then we get into the right-of-way project, which is where all the county and city road projects are. You can see we've got $13.3 million out of $15.2 million total project costs. The biggest in there is the 69th Street reconstruction for $1.6 million and the Portland Avenue reconstruction of $8.4 million. But also in 2015, it's the first year of a 6-year program to mill and overlay all city streets. And it's approximately $3.2 million a year for that 6-year program. And then within public facilities, we've got the annual equipment replacement of $700,000, and that's replacing the city's rolling stock and technology equipment on an annual basis. We also have utility improvements, of which $500,000 is set aside for repainting the Penn Water Tower. Then we have some replacement of the fire SCBA replacement of $180,000. That's the breathing apparatus that they wear going to fires and things like that. In 2016, as you can see, the amount has gone up. Total project costs are now $33.1 million. If we go into recreation projects, again, $450,000. You'll see that all the way through. 2016 is the last year for the Lincoln Field loan repayment. That'll be all gone. We have community center boiler and air conditioning replacement, community center parking lot seal coat, swimming pool heaters, replacement of the heaters. I guess they are the original heaters still in that pool. Then Wood Lake restroom improvement. And then in 2016, it's the first year of the 66th Street reconstruction project, and the total cost of that project approximately right now is at $37 million. So $25 million is scheduled for 2016. And then also they have the 76th Street reconstruction project of $3.2 million. And then within public facilities, they have the water plant line slaker replacement. And that has something to do with the softening of the water at the water plant. That's about all I can tell you about that. If you need more, you can always give Robert Hinchin a call. He can go into further detail. And then also, we were going to set aside $50,000 in 2016, 18, and 19 for just liquor operation capital improvements. There are 3 of the buildings are pushing, or are to exceed 20 years, and 1 is pushing 20 years. And then, of course, obviously, the North Lindale store was remodeled in 2013, so that really does not need any other improvement for the time. In 2017, total project costs equal just a little bit more than $26 million. Within the recreation projects, 2017 is the first year where we're going to start setting aside money for the ice arena conversion to indirect refrigeration. By 2020, the ice arena, both sheets of ice have to cool the ice or freeze the ice with a different kind of refrigerant. They cannot use what they're using now, and the total cost of that is $3 million. So over the next 3 years, we're going to start setting aside money, and then hopefully come up with some other money to cover the total $3 million cost. We're also going to seal coat the ice arena parking lot, replace carpeting in the community center and the Wood Lake Nature Center. In right-of-way projects, you can see we're getting into the final year of the 66th Street project, another almost $13 million, and then also the 65th Street reconstruction at $5.4 million. Down in the public facilities, we got approximately $4.2 million of expenditures. Some of those are interconnect with neighboring communities. What this is, the DNR strongly recommends, it's not a requirement, but they strongly recommend that each community has a backup water source. Right now, if something catastrophic happened to our water plant, we don't have a backup source. So this has been in there, it's slowly working its way down the chain into the budget process, and that's at $500,000. We also need to replace the roof on the water plant, and then Public Works has some concrete ceiling over at the new maintenance facility in 2017, 2018 both. And then also the largest thing underneath there is the Penn Liquor Store relocation at $2.5 million. Current store kind of sits back, it's old, and it's not large enough right now. So we're basically in the process of trying to find a location on Penn Avenue to place that store. 2018 is actually kind of a quiet year. We continue to set aside money for the ice arena project. The only right-of-way project is the continuation of the mill and overlay project, and really the only new project for public facilities is to replace 2 water mains underneath I-35W. There's currently 3 mains under I-35. 1 was replaced in the 1990s. There's 2 that still need to be replaced. In 2019, there's $15 million approximately for total project costs. Recreation project, again, we're just continuing to set aside money each year for that the refrigeration project. And within the right-of-way projects, the largest project there is the Nicollet Avenue reconstruction of almost $11 million. And then public facilities is just a continuation of some of the annual costs in there, annual project costs for $820,000. Beyond 2019, you can see it's almost $50 million. Again, we continue with the ice arena refrigeration project. There's still additional almost $1.9 million. There is, I think, we're going to apply for a grant, $500,000. That would help cover some of that, but then we still need another 1.3, 1.4. 77th Street underpass at $24 million. Humboldt Avenue Lakeshore Drive reconstruction at $3 million. Lindale Avenue improvements at $6 million, and then the Penn Avenue reconstruction of $11.45. And that's pretty much everything that's in the plan. It's a really quick synopsis, quick summary of what is in there. I'm happy to try to answer any questions you may.
Any questions?
Yes, I do. Relative to Penn Avenue, there has been an indication of a consideration of putting a different intersection in a Penn and 66 that might require land acquisition and maybe some other things. Is that considered in here?
My guess is it's probably in that $11.45 million, but I don't know for sure. I read all the project descriptions and they didn't talk about, I don't recall reading about, a change in the intersection. So I don't know that off the top of my head. I would have to follow up with the engineering department and ask them what, and maybe they don't even, I don't know yet either if they even know what that is. It's probably 5 years out in the future right now. So.
All right. And then just one other comment. Oftentimes, I think people wonder what the city does and to save money and so on. When I was talking to Jim Topitzhofer about the ice arena project, one of the things is that he has worked with some folks to recover the current refrigerant that is being used to sell that to people who are going to need it, who are not going to be making this change as soon as we are. It's become quite a commodity, and the recovery on that, albeit is not a huge amount of money, but I think it does show that staff for this city does look out for the nickels and dimes, dollars and cents, and so on.
No, good idea. Every little bit helps.
Pardon?
Every little bit helps.
Yes. It's also environmentally responsible to do that, but they're planning on incorporating that in with that big changeover refrigeration systems.
Okay, Commissioner Stamfos?
Yep. Chris, I'm new to the commission this year, so question. In later years, is this budget modified in any way? Can this be modified in any way?
Well, the plan changes annually. I mean, and the budget could change annually. I mean, once you go through the approval process, if the commission does decide to approve everything on here, it goes back to the city manager. The city manager, basically the budget portion of it, 2015, is the city manager's portion of it. He has control of that. Plan portion is really the planning commission and the councils and everybody. I mean, that's just a plan, so it's all formalized and then put into the 2015 budget.
Okay.
But I can tell you, for the years I've been here, things do change on this. I mean, just because something is in here doesn't necessarily mean it's set in stone.
Right. So for the future years, we look at this as kind of a rolling plan.
Yeah, I mean, the idea, the theory is everything is that something starts out in 2018, it's slowly going to work its way forward to the budget where it's actually implemented and things like that. Because I can go back 2-3 years and, 66th Street was back in beyond 2018 or something like that, and now it's slowly working in its way. It's coming to fruition and things like that.
Yeah.
Now, the other opposite side of that is I've been here, I'm in my 19th year, pushing the tunnel underneath Trunk Highway 77 has been on this every year since I've been here, and it's just a matter of getting the funding, so now it's out there as, beyond 2019, but with the inaction of the legislature this past session, it sounds like we are going to get some funding and things are going to start on that, so that one may get pushed up real quick.
Right, and was that clarified, that funding, when that would begin?
We still don't know what the funding level is. I mean, there's an estimate in there, and that's all that is an estimate. I wouldn't put it's not in stone or anything like that. That was basically done before the law was passed and things like that. The timing of it was beforehand, so.
My one concern I would have about this for future years is simply the park maintenance line. I'm a little concerned that the park maintenance line is held at a steady amount out to all the future years.
Well, that's based on liquor profits, so
Okay.
that's really what drives that.
Okay. But the fact that it's held at a steady level, my sense of it as a planning commissioner would be, I would hope that we're planning to try and look at that line carefully so that we can increase amounts that we are dedicating to park maintenance so that we can maintain our parks at least at the level that they're at now and not be planning for deterioration because we're not setting aside what we need to cover for inflation and such things.
It's a fine line to walk. Jim Topitzhofer has asked for more money too and things like that, but it is a fine line because you don't want to put the liquor fund in a situation where its cash is low and that needs to operate and things like that. I know every December I tell one of my staff members that pays the bills for the liquor operation, I say, don't pay anything until January because I need cash to transfer the money into the special revenue fund, which then goes into the park maintenance projects and things like
So
that.
a good site for that Penn Avenue liquor store is really important.
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, thanks,
well,
Chris.
I mean, the Lindale liquor store is doing really well after all of its
Exactly.
remodeling and everything. So yeah, and also we need much more warmer weather to spur sales, things
There
like
we
that.
go. Okay, thanks, Chris.
Other questions? Okay, I have just one. So back to the Penn Avenue situation, is that pretty much, the reason it's out and beyond 2019, I drive it every day, obviously, so I'm just kind of curious. But is that out there because of the Hennepin County part of that? Do
It's
you know?
possible, I don't know, it's possible
Okay.
that that's why it is.
Okay,
But we do have responsibility for all the county roads. I mean, if we want to do any utility work on it, most of that is our cost. But I think even if we weren't doing utility work, I think we still have a small portion of responsibility to cover the cost, maybe 10-20%, but
yeah.
don't
And
quote
so
me on
this
that.
is not part of the Sweet Streets type situation? Any of the county roads?
Well, Portland is part of Sweet Streets, I think. I think the banner out there says
Okay.
Portland out there.
Okay,
I think Millen Overlay, I don't know, and 66th Street, I think, is also part.
okay,
So,
and those are both county, so.
yeah, those are both county, and I think
Okay.
Lindale's not county, though, I don't think. I think Penn and Nicollet are both county, guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just, and I see that the Hennepin County's in there, so it's part of your funding, which is maybe predicated.
Penn Avenue is scheduled to be ground up, and after it disintegrates on its own, will be covered over again this summer.
Right. Portions of Penn Avenue there will be a mill and overlay this summer. But then, yes, the date that is in the CIP is based on Hennepin County's reconstruction schedule.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I'd ask for a motion.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you.
Chair Jabs?
Thanks, Chris.
Could I just get a show of hands for the motion and second motion? I'm sorry.
Here,
Who
motion.
moved?
Down here.
No,
There.
Gordon made the
And
motion,
second.
I made
Thank
the
you.
second.
Thank you.
Sorry, I thought,
No, I got it.
I
Thanks.
should have listened.
I didn't realize we sound alike.
Yeah, yeah.
I- You know,
Okay.
when Matt is here, Matt's in charge of this part of it now, so
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
You're
not
out
as attuned to your voices anymore.
you're out of practice?
Okay, so on to, there is no old business. One thing we should do is introduce our new commission member, though, and I missed that, so I apologize. But we have a new commission member who just started this time, Allison Grebner, and so welcome, Allison. Yeah. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay, so liaison reports, community services, Tom?
They did not have a meeting this past time. It was canceled, so I don't have one.
Okay, and no council because Susan's not here. In no HRA, that Allison, you'll probably be taking over the HRA as Ruth's replacement, I assume?
Does that work for you, Allison? Is the HRA okay? We
Okay.
can show you, we can give you a meeting schedule and show you where to access those minutes, and you can either attend or read minutes or watch the meetings online.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rick, I do have something from the
Oh.
Community Services
Oh,
Commission.
time's up, go ahead.
Okay. This happened at the previous meeting, but the Community Services Commission voted to name the Lower Donaldson ball field, or a portion of it, put up a recognition of George Carnes, who was a longtime baseball promoter here in youth baseball here in Richfield, which I think is duly deserved. And I just wanted to point that out. The upper field was named after Gordy Larson a number of years ago.
Very good, thank you. Commissioner Kreisberg, your, where we got transfer to, Richfield School Board. Sorry, on my lines. No report. Okay, Transportation Commission, Stanford.
no report.
No report. Chamber of Commerce, Bezecki.
Yes, Chamber President Angie Schaffbauer was accepted into the Minnesota Chamber's Leadership Minnesota program for 2014-2015. It's an honor that's only given to one chamber exec per year in Minnesota, so she's got a group of 34 other folks who she's going to join for that session. She did apply for and didn't receive a scholarship, so she may be soliciting some local businesses to contribute to that. The Chamber is also partnering with the city's Economic Development Coordinator for a listing of commercial properties that are available. And the board had a leadership planning retreat June 18th at the International Dairy Queen headquarters. And June 25th is a business after hours event, so this Wednesday at Champs and check out the Richfield Chamber website for details.
Thank you.
I do have,
I'm sorry?
go ahead. I do have.
Let's see, city planners report.
I just have a couple of things to mention. The Lindale Station, the Wellington development, they're ready to move forward on phase 2, so you can expect to see that application, the PUD amendment, on the agenda for next month. Their deadline, if you'll recall, for a building permit is September 1st. Because the council is canceling one of their meetings in August, that is going to come up real fast for us. I think we'll actually be amending that agreement to give them a little bit of extra time. Everyone is moving forward in good faith, and so I think we'll give them a little bit of extra time to get the permit. We'll also likely be considering an ordinance amendment for drive-throughs. If you recall, we talked about drive-throughs in the mixed-use districts a few months ago, and the council was not in favor of the proposed amendments, which would have prohibited drive-throughs if a development was not mixed-use in the mixed-use districts. So we've reworked those a little bit. We're working on them now. I think they'll be ready for your consideration next month. We'll also be considering an amendment related to variances. I may have mentioned this before, that right now we have the hearing examiners who consider variances, but we've been very proactive with our code amendments and we don't have very many variance applications, so we'll be bringing that back to the Planning Commission. We're going to propose that the Planning Commission make final decisions now on variances, and the hearing examiner will be able to retire after many, many years of service. Connie Murray has been doing this for us for many years, and she's been great. But there are so few that this makes sense for us now. Also, one other thing, Richfield Connect, there is a planning-related question up now to considering two-story accessory structures, in particular garages, two-story garages. We've had a lot of feedback so far. You might want to check it out. And we'll likely be coming forward with some sort of amendment here in the next couple months on that as well. There are comments both on our Facebook page and on Richfield Connect. So if you don't know how to access either our Facebook page or Richfield Connect, let me know and I can help you with that. That's it.
Thank you. Tom, did you have anything?
Yeah, I do. One thing I want to point out on Penn Avenue, those of you who do drive it every day, you might not have even noticed it. Take a look at the Sherwin-Williams building. When that building was built, there was quite a discussion on putting in those faux windows on each side of the building. And they have just had this kind of unattractive cardboard brown kind of background in them. And Sherwin-Williams on the west window facing Penn Avenue has now put in a very, very decorative piece of artwork, which is, the best way I can describe it is a bunch of giant paint samples. And it's you know, kind of attractive. I mean, this is not the brown paper anymore, but they spent about $800 on that. And merchants up and down the avenue there have been trying to do small things like that. I tried to talk them into doing the other window too, but their district manager wouldn't go for that, so I went for one and considered that lucky. The other is I did go to a luncheon a few weeks ago with the Sensible Land Use Coalition, and they talked about bikes, biking, and so on. And one of the thoughts that occurred to me during the many presentations that were there in discussion is a lot of bike plans and bike trails are just that. They're recreational. And I had a discussion with several people at the table I was at who are planners in other cities. And we were all on the same page, which is kind of unusual for me to be on the same page with a lot of people. But that we don't do a very good job in talking about bikes as a utilitarian approach. In other words, using a bike to get across town, using a bike to go and do shopping, using a bike to go and do errands. And we don't build that into our planning very well. We're very good at doing bike trails, but not the around town kind of thing. And so I'd like people to just think about that as we do some of the projects that paying attention to a different type of biking and incorporating it into the life of people might be a good idea all around. My 2 cents.
Very good. Thank you for those 2 cents. Next meeting is July 28th. If there's no other action, I'd ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.